This, riddle me that. Do you feel like a rat? Do you feel like you're in a maze? Maybe it's time to get your spirit raised, your spirit strong. The Alpough Show, the human spirit experiment. It won't take long. And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Alpough Show, the human spirit experiment. I want to say a good morning to everyone back east. I want to say good morning to everyone all the way in Europe, all the way in India, all the way in Australia. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here, ladies and gentlemen. Just did a 4.5 hour show not too long ago. I want to introduce myself. My name is Alpough. I live in the state of Arizona, and I'm here to tell you I love you. I'm here to tell you that there is a Holy Spirit, and that Holy Spirit's name is Sophia. In case you know, all of us have been looking for Mama, Sophia. And this is how I picture myself. Today, I'm going to offer a little sample of myself on the things that I do, and that I am the person here to tell you about the Wisdom for Beginners series. I'm going to go over some of the different clips to bring you up to an awareness that Sophia is the Holy Spirit and that she does exist. And that her wisdom has been given to me, and I want to share it with you. So, this is the first time you're going to meet me. And I'm going to give you some clips on some of the things on where I'm at, on where I want to encourage you as. The first one here, the first clip we're going to talk about is being an adult of my love. I think we all want love. We all want to give love. At the same time, are we doing it in the proper light that's healthy for us? And so that's where we're going to begin, with an adult of my love. And here's that clip, and I'll be here afterwards.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. It's Happy Love Day. Let me tell you my rap. Love is every day. Love is right on time. Love is a gift from the Holy Spirit. A gift that's yours and mine. We need love forever. Let's keep getting better. Stop changing the conditions like you see the crazy weather. Love never changes like a clock changes time. Love is kind, not a toy that you wind. Love is from the heart. Love is from the know. Learn more about it on the Alpough Show. The human spirit experiment starts now. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Welcome to Alpough. Hey, what day is today? I guess it's a holiday. I guess it's Love Day. That's what I see. I want to welcome you to Alpough. And that I am so happy that you're going to come in here now. You're going to come in later. The main thing is you're going to come in. So let's slow down to speed up, and let's talk about love. Now, today is our 6th piece of the puzzle. Adult of My Love. This is the number 227 show. Wisdom for Life. From Sophia the Spirit, where we use the 10 principles. I'm an adult of my spirit, an adult of my mind, an adult of my thought, an adult of my emotions, an adult of my actions, an adult of my body. Today is about adult of my love, the 7th principle. 8, adult of my surroundings. 9, the adult of my relationships. And 10, and final, the most important thing to give us this completion, an adult of my decisions. Because we are all judged by what? The decisions we've made in our life. And so these 10 principles give you the place of wisdom to make the final action in your decisions. So, what is today? Well, today to me is Happy Love Day. Okay, it's Happy Love Day, everybody. But it is a holiday that's called Valentine's Day. Are you familiar with Valentine? The Valentine's Day? What is Valentine's Day, by the way? This is the definition of the ancient Romans may be responsible for the name of our modern day of love. Emperor Claudius II executed two men, both named Valentine, on February 14th of different years in the 3rd century. The martyrdom was honored by the Catholic Church with the celebration of St. Valentine's Day. So that is it is actually, well, called it a pagan holiday. They were executed. I don't know where you get on that. Okay. So this is why I call it Happy Love Day. Okay. One of the reasons that I think it's a struggle for everybody really is the fact that it does put pressure on us. Puts pressure on people who, don't have, puts it on relationships and with people who don't have relationships. Valentine's Day can also put outstanding pressure on relationships. The thought of not getting gifts that are expensive or meaningful enough overpower the true essence of a relationship. This holiday materializes and demeans the real meaning of love. It does not take money and a holiday to show someone you love them. And so I think all of us maybe have gone up and down with this day. Now, there are those who are in a relationship like I am. I love my wife so much, but even before we got together, it was like Valentine's Day is every day. And I wake up with it as Happy Love Day and falling in love. But again, for the people who don't have a relationship, this could be that time for you to give something to yourself, to acknowledge yourself, okay? And to the acceptance of yourself. But for all of us, really what it's really about, it's about the little things. This is what I think love is. It's about the little things, okay? So let's go into the definition of love. Now, to me, love is simple, but yet is very complex, okay? It's a feeling of strong or constant affection for a person, like whether motherly, maternal love, fatherly love, or paternal love. This is probably the first love that all of us have felt in our lives. The love of your mother and your father, and knowing this nature as a kid, as a child, being really connected, dependent on the love of the maternal. So we all experienced it. If you didn't, I'm sorry, but for most people, this is what kind of happens. And so this is the first love. Love for each other has been increased by what we've been through together also. This is what this day celebrates. You can celebrate it with the person you're with your family, but also this is about your inner love. So if you're by yourself, then this is knowing that you still love each other, all the things that you've gone through with your couple or by yourself. Okay, deep affection, fondness, tenderness, warmth, intimacy, attachment, endearment, devotion, adoration, doting, idolization, worship, passion, desire, lust, yearning, infatuation, and adulation. These are other words that can define love. Now, in my opinion, love is not lust. Okay? Love is not lust. You see, lust is part of gratification. And sometimes, you can misdefine love. Okay, lust as love, but it is not. Lust is not love. It is part of desiring and in a sense of conquering someone. So, in my opinion, love is not lust. Let's going to go with 5 other definitions of love. I thought this was pretty good. Love language. Words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality times, or acts of service. Let's start off at the top. Words of affirmation, how to communicate, encourage, affirm, appreciate, empathize, and listen actively. That you become an active listener. This is one of the things that I say to people. I am a professional listener. I will listen to what you have to say. Communication is the key. Actions to take: send an unexpected note, text, or card. Genuinely encourage and often. Second, physical touch. Non-verbal doesn't have to be. This is not about being just physical, okay, or sexual, all right? I'm not going to talk about really sexuality because that's between two people, and that's a whole nother actual show, sexuality. Physical touch, nonverbal. Use body language and touch to express love. Hug, kiss, hold hands. Show physical affection often. Make intimacy a thoughtful priority. Now, receiving gifts. Thoughtfulness. Make your spouse a priority. Speak purposefully. That is the gift. Give thoughtful gifts and gestures. Small things, like I said, the little things matter in a big way. Express gratitude when receiving a gift. Quality time. Uninterrupted and focused conversations. One-on-one time is critical. Actions to take is to create special moments together. Take walks and do things with your partner. Weekend getaways are huge. Acts of service. How to communicate. Use action phrases like "I'll help." Commitment is what it means. They want to know you're with them, partnered with them. Actions. Do chores together and make them breakfast in bed. Go out of your way to help alleviate their daily workload. Today, my wife and I took a walk on our lunch break. We walked around the block 3 times to get some sun. And in that course of that time, we had a good time just talking. How our day is going. What am I doing for the show? These are things that we do together, and we're very active about this. So for us, Valentine's Day is irrelevant to us. Happy Love Day, though, is every day. So now I'm going to give you my pointers, my top 10 things on what my definition of love, and then also in the consideration of how I've lived my life, and also how I've come up with this through my own personal experience of my whole life. Number 1, love is a gift. When someone decides to love you, they're giving of themselves. Okay? Now, it comes down to, if it's physical, it's giving of the body too, also. But love is a gift. And you decide who to give it to. But the person you should be giving it to first is yourself. Okay? Which leads me to my next point, is action. You saw in the 5 words that it's all about action. Talk is cheap, baby. Talk is cheap. Anybody can tell you that they love you, but if they don't put the action, they don't do the gift, then it's irrelevant. It's just words. 3, emotions. You give your emotions over to the person or whatever situation that you're in. You're emotionally involved. Now, we talked about being an adult of your emotions, because that is very, very committing when you put the commitment of your emotions into the love that you are given. Number 4, love is not easy. Let's straight up say it. Love is not easy. It is not easy to love. Okay? Because on number 5, you can't be rejected. We've all experienced rejection in love. Okay? All relationships don't work. Sometimes you are rejected. But then on the other hand, you may have rejected someone too. And so it's important to understand that there is a risk in giving love, in giving your love that is so important, that is so valuable. Your love is valuable. In giving love, we come to the next point, which is acceptance. Love is acceptance of the other person. Now, there's the unconditional love, which is even harder, but everything begins in a relationship through acceptance. I said you've got to have a couple things when you fall in love with someone and you want to expect them to be in love with you. Is number 1, love. Love is number 1. Can they trust you? It's number 2. 3, do you accept them? Do you accept them? See, this starts with you. Do you love yourself? Can you trust yourself? That's very true. And do you accept yourself? Now, at the end of the day, number 7 is love is hard to figure out. Some of you can agree with me on that in itself, because people change. You change. Sometimes you're hard to figure out, right? You're in the midst of a change right now. Aren't we all in the midst of a change? Right? We're all in the midst of a change. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow, about what's going on in the world. Please don't miss that one. Please let me take a minute here real quick. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It just really helps me get the word out, you know. It's very, YouTube is just, they pick and choose on who they want, and they do not want shows that talk about love and the true sense of the love. Okay? Yeah, even YouTube's hard to figure out, so really could really use your help on that. And then press that bell, and you'll see that you get reminded of when my shows come out. Also now, number 8, love is natural. It's natural. You know, when you were growing up, how easy it was to love? When you see children, well, until they get a little bit older, about 13, I think it is, when kids change, they just come, these sweet, loving little creatures. And then they become 13 and things start to change. But again, love is natural. When you see children, they naturally love, well, of course, until they start going to school and you see what's going on right now. So it is natural for the human being to love. Okay? Now, this was going to be weird, but it's also unnatural for some to love. And why is that? You might say. Well, we go right back to the basics when I started. Love, trust, and acceptance. And if you were raised up not receiving that, where you didn't feel love, you didn't feel like you could trust the person, even your parents, or even the relationships that you've been with, and it puts you in this unnatural state. And this is why people go throughout their life never, ever finding love. Part of it is attracting the wrong person. The other part is rejecting the right person to come along. You've seen this. I've seen it. This is the new generation here. I do TikTok. I see how frustrated people are. And then I also see this extreme competition now that's growing between men and women. You get them before they get you. And there is no trust. There is no acceptance. So how can you call it love? If it always becomes this competition, then love is not competition. Love is about teamwork. You give to me, I give to you. We are a team together. We do things together. Now, the final one, which is I think the most important one, is most of us can't live without love. Okay? No matter what. The most stubbornest person, I could maybe say the most evilest. At the end of the day, most of us, we want love. And, today, as we go along here, we kind of close out here. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to dance, baby. Give me a little dance. Dance with the one you love today, okay? All right? Show off a little bit, okay? But be love. Be love, baby. Be love. Be what you want. Show what you are, and you will reflect that back to you. For those of you who are still looking for that relationship, give this saying: I have unlimited, infinite patience with myself. Give that to yourself, and then you will see that it will be reflected out. Do you have any comments here? Oh, great. Who's that? Oh, that's my wife. Happy Love Day, my dear. Yeah. For real, teamwork makes us work. And that's really good. And she agrees. See, hey, we got it here. Love is not just a day, but every day. This is our motto that we did for each other right from the beginning. And of course, we're a little bit older and I've learned a lot of things on the way. So I want to thank everybody who came in today. I'm wishing you a wonderful day of love, and may you carry that love tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and beyond. Thank you all. I'll be back tomorrow. And peace to you. Peace to me. And peace to this whole wide world. And peace out. Yes, love every day. Love every day is what we're looking for. I appreciate everybody coming in. Who's coming in now? Who's coming in later? Good morning to everyone around the world. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here, but I'm out here reaching out to everybody back east, back in Europe, all the way around the world. Thank you so much. Listen, everything is with everything that's going on. Everything feels confused right now, and this next clip is going to be confused or used. I mean, we seem like we're all, as people, it's us who are ones in the middle. It's us who's the one who's the fodder. When you look all around the world, who's the ones who suffers the most? It is the normal person, the person that wants to raise a family, wants to have a job, a roof over their head, and to be able to just love. I want you to know I love you. This next clip is called Confused or Used. And you got to figure out that's what makes us feeling confused is because we feel like we're being used. So check out this next clip, Confused or Used. Riddle me this, riddle me that. It's time well spent at the Alpough show. The human spirit experiment starts now. Welcome. Welcome into Alpough. Are you going through a lot of confusion in this world that's been changing as we go and go and go and go? I want to thank everyone who's coming in now and who will be coming in a little bit later. Welcome to my show, the Alpough Show, the Human Spirit Experiment. I've been asked, why do I call it the Human Spirit Experiment? Well, I think that it's safe to say that there's a lot of experiments going on with everything that's going on. And I do believe that our spirit is what's being challenged in a way that we've not ever seen, maybe in the history of the world, maybe certainly in the history of our time, if you've been around over the last 100 years, and you can see. And so, for my whole thing is I've been doing this 10-part series of being an adult of your spirit, adult of your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, actions. We're getting ready to do the body, also your love, being adult of your love, and in your surroundings, also in your relationships with everything that seems to be changing more and more as we keep going forward here. And so tonight I just want to touch on a few things, maybe help us learn how to cope a little bit better here, because things are happening from the outside looking in at us. And for us, we want to be able to look from the inside, looking out as we understand more about our surroundings. And if you didn't see the one that I put out here, perhaps this will explain it a little bit better for you. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Do you feel like a rat? Do you feel like you're in a maze? Maybe it's time to get your spirit raised, your spirit strong. The Alpough Show, the human spirit experiment. It won't take long. That's why I want you to be here. We just surpassed our 3,000 subscriber. We started April 1st. Here we are, February 2nd. We're growing slowly. I think we're growing organically. And so it's been one person at a time, one spirit at a time. And so um, I want to talk about just some of the things that are going on today, and it's really, really, really crazy here. Um, and I want to start off with a little, just with a joke um, of what I think describes exactly what we're all going through as we're in this pandemic, okay? And how we have to basically giving over our complete trust over. And I think this really explains it. The third dose increases immunity. So after the fourth dose, you are protected. Once 90% of the population has received the fifth dose, the restrictions can be relaxed, and the sixth dose stops the virus from spreading. I am calm and believe that the seventh dose will solve our problems. We have no reason to fear the eighth dose. The clinical phase of the ninth dose confirms that the antibodies remain stable after the 10th dose. The 11th dose guarantees that no new mutations will develop, so there is no longer any reason to criticize the idea of a 12th dose. You know, I don't normally, I don't ever curse on the show, okay? But I do think this really solves that this is turning into a bunch of shit, okay? And the shits. The most functional English word is shit. That's right, shit. You can smoke shit, get shit faced, buy shit, sell shit, lose shit, find shit, tell people to eat shit, forget shit. Some people know their shit, and some have shit for brains. There's crazy shit, there's bullshit, horse shit, chicken shit, deep shit, the wrong shit, the right shit, and not enough shit, weird shit, scary shit, up shit creek without a paddle, and sometimes everything you touch turns to shit. You could pass this on if you give a shit or not if you don't give a shit. Hope you have a shit-free week. But remember, shit happens, and that's where we're at. And so what we got to do here, we're going to slow down here, and what do we do? And so that we can speed up, baby. And this is where we're at here. I want you to think, slow down, and then when you keep moving, maybe you'll remember a couple things that we talked about today. So I want to really kind of go into a little bit of the news. If you haven't heard, the IRS and Face.id is here. And in order for you to make any transactions other than mail-in filing, you have to get in touch or add anything besides your filing. You have to have your Face ID. Now, if you're not added your Face ID and don't know what that is, that means that you have to go on to this website. That is not, by the way, it is outsourced from the government. So it is not a government website. But because they can get shit done, that's why they gave it to them. Okay. So we're going to have to go. If you had unemployment, then you're already familiar with this. You have to take a picture of yourself, selfie, and then it matches. It has to match exactly. You can't change. Okay, this is going to be what's bringing in the facial recognition, so that when you walk into a store, you've seen these pictures in China and Japan where they have face recognition. That's what this is. Also, since this is a public corporation, they have the right to sell and advertise and send you, things to buy. And so there's a thing there that says if you don't want to allow them to do it, you have to check that. If you don't want them to use your name and information. So this is here. It will be here. You will have to have it done kind of towards the summer here, but just remember, it is absolutely coming. What's already here, in case you didn't know it, is that all $600 transactions will be reported to the IRS. And this means that the banks, PayPal, they will all send a 1099 to, or whatever, I think it's a 1090, reporting all your transactions. And just this here. So when you do PayPal, you can also do face and family and friends. So that's the only way that you won't get taxed. Okay. So they said this is the tax to rich, but when does the rich spend $600? Do they spend $600 on a wallet? Okay. So be aware of that. That is already here. Okay. Basically, they're getting rid of cash. That's what it really seems like they're getting ready to do. So, we just had football weekend here, and I'm from Penn State, so I'm a Chiefs fan. And my Chiefs lost. I'm sure some of you lost some money on that too. I sure did. So it came really down to, this is what I for the first time, I've seen some of the mainstream people, especially on Facebook, that are asking the question, is the NFL rigged? And by looking at that Chiefs game and seeing literally the greatest quarterback of our generation, possibly, certainly in the Chiefs franchise history, but also throughout the NFL. And it looked like the Bengals turned into the '85 Bears, and the Chiefs turned into the Washington Senators. It was something really hard to stomach. Now, I'm just going to say to you, in a word, is the NFL rigged? Yes. The NFL is rigged for entertainment. Okay? It has the same entertainment. It states the same, their same mantra that all of them say is this is for entertainment and entertainment only purposes. Okay. So can they do things? Well, I think I would say that if there is a way to rig a game, the way you can rig a game is, number one, the quarterback. Okay. Number two, the kicker. And number three, the refs. And so, is it possible? Without a doubt, it's possible. NFL has been around for over 100 years, and one of the reasons why they started it was because of gambling. And if you'll see a lot of the owners, one of their biggest ties is to gambling. But now let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. As you know, February 1st began the year of the Tiger. And so it's Bengals year time. Without a doubt, it's Bengals time. So I'm predicting that the Bengals will win the Super Bowl. The reason why is because this is the second year that a home team is playing at their home. Now, they wanted to make sure that the home team won last year with Tom Brady, who, by the way, retired at 44. And So when you see this, the year of the tiger, everything is falling into place. I'd love to go into that more, but but for a lot of us, we feel like this is the year of the rat, and that that this whole world is turned into a maze, and within this maze is we are being there's distraction and division. And so what is this maze? What is the surroundings of it? Okay. Within this distraction and this division. Well, now we're under major inflation. We're not only in major inflation, which they're actually not telling us. If you can go to the store and you can see it's not 5%. Some items have been doubled. As an estimated guess, I would say somewhere between 10 and 15%. It's just that you just have to see it. And also, we're having empty shells in this maze that we're in. And we are in the middle of what was predicted to be a dark winter. And so what we want to do is we want to do our best to rise above us by being an adult of our spirit. Just say it, an adult of my spirit. It triggers everything else. It like cascades down by growing up. It is time to grow up, ladies and gentlemen, so that we can face this. Now, this also is going to be the year of the suicide. And that's why we have to watch out for each other. We have to keep an eye on each other. And, my whole suggestion to is to do some working out. Now, I know that it's cold right now, but there's so many videos on YouTube on how to walk in place, how to stretch, how to do yoga. I do P90X. This is my 7th week. I started in the middle of December so that I wouldn't have to make it a resolution. Well, right now, February's over, so we know it's most people's resolutions they haven't done. So let's start it again, okay? By getting healthy, by just walking into place, I'm saying to you. And then also, if you can, and the vitamin D comes from the sun, but you can also get it in vitamin. So the main thing is we want to stay together, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we want to put together our love and our teamwork together. Okay, that's what we want to do together. And so I want to. Well, look who just popped in. There's the wife. Thank you for coming in, darling. Appreciate it. We practice the teamwork. Also, prevention. You definitely might want to just, inflation is supposed to go up a little bit higher, so you might want to put away some things. Okay, we just put in a little bit at a time, a little bit a week, but it's hard to put stuff away when inflation is taking away the money, that extra part. So let's just stay together now. Look out for your brethren. And the inspiration, we have Mother Sophia, and she's watching over us. Mother Earth, Mother Nature is acting up here. Now, I'm going to have a talk here down the road on who controls the weather. So until that time we get together again, it'll be tomorrow here I'm wishing you a wonderful evening. Okay. And let's keep an eye on each other. Yeah, let's keep an eye on each other, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I was wrong about the Bengals. Again, they tell us it's one thing and do another thing. And if you gamble on something, you understand that. So, this next clip here, first of all, good morning to everybody around the world. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here. I'm trying to catch all you people in the East, everybody in Europe, people all the way in Europe, Australia, and the rest around the world. Thank you so much for considering coming in here. My next clip is about 5G. Is it good or bad for me? And January 1st, the 5G came on board. A lot of phones stopped working. People had to buy new phones again. What a waste. Every time you use when you have to throw away your phone, think how many phones you've used in the last, let's just call it 20 years. Most everybody, it's one every 2 years, right? So if you've been using cell phones for, let's just say 20 years, you've definitely thrown away at least 10. Take that time, everybody, because almost everybody's on the phone. So what is going on with 5G? Is it good for us? Certainly not research. And I throw some thought bombs on you. And 5G, good or bad for me? That's what's up next.
Alpough Show, the human spirit experiment, starts now.
Welcome. Yes, the Alpough Show has begun. The human spirit experiment. I want to welcome you. It's February 1st, everybody. Already January is done. Now here at the Alpough Show, the Human Spirit Experiment, we study numbers. And February is an interesting book, an interesting month by the numbers here. First of all, it's February 1st. February equals 42 in Gematria. Like Jackie Robinson, whose number was 42. Jackie equals 42. Slavery equals 42. Tuskegee, like the Tuskegee experiments, 42. Martin, like Martin Luther King, like Martin Lawrence, 42. If you go look on Martin's his series, his apartment was number 42. Malcolm X equals 42. The N-word equals 42. Bus equals 42. Muhammad Ali equals 42. And Jesuit equals 42. So this is Black History Month, and so it's interesting that the number 42 is coming up. So whenever you see that number, there's other numbers that we will be discussing today. So we're going to slow down so we can do some thinking, so we can speed up. So let's slow down to speed up. Let's get in the show. We're going to be talking today about the 5G towers. 5G just came on board January 1st. You'll see some phones don't work anymore because they have to be on 5G. And we're also going to be talking about this guy who we've talked about many times, who appears to want to change the world. He wants to change the whole earth. So let's go ahead and get into this right now. I'm going to start with Elon. And just to let you know here, it came out. We know there's been a lot of the strike on the truckers. And of course, Elon came out with the support. Canadian truckers rule. You see how it comes down. CB radios are free from government media control. Thank you, Elon. I'm not sure, why you're saying that to us. Of course, anybody who knows, who's had a CB radio like myself since you was a kid, you know that. Then he comes up and he says, freedom is being stripped away one piece at a time until it is gone. Is he part of that? Okay. So I would say that Elon Musk is one of the few people that is actually changing the faith space of our Earth. And what is he doing with that? Well, first of all, he came out earlier. We're going to go into it a little bit here. He came out earlier and said he's going to be put this on the show here in the past. He's going to be putting these chips into the brain here. This is just a quick clip. I want you to take a look at it.
For version 1 of the device, it would be it basically implanted in your skull. So, but it would be flush with your skull. So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there. You put the electrode, you'd insert the electrode threads very carefully into the brain, and then you stitch it up, and you wouldn't even know that somebody has it, and so that it can interface basically anywhere in your brain. So it could be something that helps cure, say, eyesight, like returns your eyesight, even if you've lost your optic nerve type of thing.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Hearing, obviously. Pretty much anything that it could, in principle, fix almost anything that is wrong with the brain.
Yeah, pretty incredible here. Now he also is coming out with his Tesla robot. As you can see, it doesn't have a face, but let's go to an example of what we're getting ready to see with what actually robots are going to be able to do. Pretty amazing here, isn't it? Now, the thing is about he has decided that he says, Elon says it's more important for Tesla to make a robot than new car models this year. So they're actually not going to be making any cars. So let's go down here to key points. The Tesla bot, that's the name of the robot, is the most important product that Tesla is developing this year. CEO Elon Musk said Wednesday on the fourth quarter earnings call, putting it ahead of the Cybertruck and other vehicles, including the Semi and the Roadster. We'll talk about that later. The robot, codename Optimus, has the potential to be more significant than the vehicle business over time. The robot is an example of Musk's showmanship, in which he announces that Tesla is working on exciting products scheduled for years in the future that help to energize employees, customers, and investors. Now, you wonder about that. You say, well, that's in the future. Hey, how much are these things going to cost? How much will a Tesla bot cost? When announced, Tesla is expected to price its humanoid robots from under $10,000. Expect to pay more for options and add-ons and different ways to configure your Tesla bot. Software upgrades could also come at an extra cost throughout ownership. So for $10,000, you can't even buy a used car for $10,000 these days, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be able to have your own personal robot, something that can lift thousands of pounds, jump 30 feet. Talk about having your own bodyguard. These robots are going to be able to do more than any human beings can do. And what did Elon say? He said that basically He wants to, I think this is the right one here. He emphasized being safer than a human is a low standard, not a high standard. People are often distracted, tired, texting. It's remarkable that we don't have more accidents on the road. In other words, owners and future owners of Tesla Get Tesla Inc. report cars will have a feature enabling their cars to drive themselves in any condition by the end of the year. That's this year. He was predicting this last year, so he's actually just, banking on what he said last year. So what do you think about that? He's also going to be developing the semi-trucks that drive themselves. He's already been developing that. But he's not building any cars. He built 940,000 cars last year. And so now he's going to concentrate more on the, the robots and the semi-trucks. So put in your comments below, what do you think about it? Let me know what you think. You think it's real? You think it's going to happen? You think it's not going to happen? What do you think of Elon? Obviously, he's brilliant. But it looks like, he's going to have, in my opinion, quite a bit of control here as we go forward. So the whole thing here for me is between Elon Musk, as well as many others, Jeff Bezos, you go on with these few, Bill Gates, it seems like we're, again, becoming the United Corporation of America. So now I want to talk about 5G. 5G, it is already here. And so with it being here, you've heard, the positive of it, the negative of it. And I want to just review a little bit on, first of all, how we got to here. Okay, so 5G means this is the 5 gigabyte new network. So it's not 5 gigabytes, but we started off at 1. Okay, so we'll just review 1 through 5. All right, here. So 1 through 5, the journey from 1 through 5. 1G was the first analog cell phone. If any of you go all the way back for me, which is back in the 80s, this is the phone that came out. I remember a friend of mine got into it immediately, but the thing was literally $350 a month. So it was like $350 a month. They put this thing in your car. It was like a receiver. You put it underneath the seat there. And that's basically, it was a huge phone, but at the time that it came out, it was really, really cool. It was like, never seen anything like that before. Although I would imagine this has been around longer before it actually came out. You see the people used to have car phones. The president, they used to have car phones in their phones. So I imagine that this has been around quite a while before it actually came out to the public. 2G came out, and that's where we were able to text message and get a voicemail. Okay, then we were also be able to have mobile headsets. We could plug it in and have our own little earphones. Okay, then we went to 3G, and we started all of a sudden be able to go onto on the internet and do a little web browsing. You could take a picture, have a camera. You could send pictures, and then also the GPS location tracker came online with the 3G here. Whether or not you think it's good, whether or not you think it's bad, but all the things they started. Then we go to 4G, we just came out of, which is more of a broadband and delivers deep web functionality. So that means you can have browsers going on, browsers on your cell phone. You have multiple websites. You can download. You can do all kinds of stuff here. So now we're in 5G, and so quicker downloads. Okay, number one, lower lag connect cars. It's going to be connecting to your own car. Smart commuters. You'll be able to, now you can be down in the subway and you can still get connection. Immersive education, meaning now that, with Zoom calling and all this stuff, it's even going to get even better. Okay. So now, what was it? 3G, if you were to download something, I believe the downloading time for a 2-hour movie was 26 hours for a 2-hour movie. All right. When it came to 4G now, it took about 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. Now the 5G, you won't believe this, but it's about 3.5 seconds. So yes, it is upon us. And a lot of the phones don't work now. Okay. So now let's, I don't want to go, before I give my opinion, I would like to just give some of the facts. And so I'm always going to quote, really the sources out there. And so the WHO, the World Health Organization, said cell phones may cause cancer. World Health Organization issues new findings classifying cell phones as a potential cancer risk, like exhaust from gasoline-powered vehicles and lead. And now there was a group of scientists who came out and said, we, the undersigned scientists and doctors, recommend a moratorium on the rollout of the 5th generation 5G for communication until potential hazards for human health and the environment have been fully investigated by scientists independent from the industry, which is very important. You should have independent study, not the ones who are bringing it out. They're going to, research it to make it look like everything's fine. But an independent is what's really good. 5G will substantially increase exposure to radio frequency electromagnetic fields, RF, EMF. I used to study this when I did PMF. That, it breaks into it. So on top of the 2G, 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, etc., for telecommunications already in place, RF, EMF has been proven to be harmful for humans and the environment. Now, one of the big things that have come out is that they don't want 5G at airports. And the reason being is because it actually matches the bandwidth of the tower and in the instruments, also in the plane, so that when it's coming up and riding on its instruments, that it could actually interrupt that signal. And so it will tell the pilot the height before they land, that it interrupts that signal as they're approaching to land. So there's still a lot of testing that really needs to be placed on this. So here we go. And now, according to the WHO, this is what they just came out. No adverse health effects has been casually linked with exposure to wireless technologies. But so far, only a few studies have been carried out at the frequencies to be used by 4G. So now they come out and they tell us that's a possibility, but there's not enough studies. And again, what is in here? Where are we? We're always, if we look at, how we've started with the pandemic and the actual vaccines that we've been getting, that you're not going to know what the actual effects are for years from now, because there hasn't been enough research to kind of show what that is. So right now they're figuring out the same thing with the 5G. The 5G is coming out, and so we won't know really what these effects are. Now, that is microwave, part of the microwave technology, if you know anything about a microwave. Okay, what is the microwave? When you turn it on, it goes inside. If you put it in your microwave oven, it goes inside the pie and heats it from the inside out. It's already been proven that little children, shouldn't, they should be a little bit bigger, sort of 5 years old, because their brain is not, you're getting these microwaves shot in there. And what does it do? It goes into the cell and makes the cell explode. And then, so what it does is those cells do not regenerate. Okay. Once the cell is destroyed, it cannot regenerate. And so you always have to have, we always have to have enough cells to keep regenerating. This is how you get old. You have less cells, by the way. Okay. And that's how we basically get old. So where does this leave us? Does this leave us bird brains? Is it going to mess up our brain, right? Well, we ask, President Biden, what does he think? He says, come on, man. And he has no solution. It keeps coming down to that we have to make the most informed decision, for ourselves. Now, I'm just going to give you my own personal recommendation, for your cell phone. You should keep it as far away from you as possible. You should use your speaker, and it's better to not have it up against your ear. I don't care what age you are. I used to do what's called electrointerstitial scans, where, if you don't know what that is, your interstitial fluid is what your organs set in. And it's not like your blood that goes throughout the body. Your organs are in interstitial fluid. And if you put a slight electrical charge into the fluid, it will give you a readout on your hormones and the condition of, lots of conditions of your body, how, what shape your body's in. But one of the things that was very interesting when I was doing this is I could always tell what pocket someone had their phone in. And I would ask them, you carry your phone in your left pocket? Yeah, I do. How'd you know? Well, these things, one of the things I heard also was tissue burning. Okay. If you've ever had a phone in your pocket, I know I have, and all of a sudden you can feel your leg, right? So it's just, I'm sorry, not tissue burning, tissue heating. Stand corrected. Tissue heating. I don't want to say burning. I don't want to get in trouble. Tissue heating. So it heats up the tissue. So, I still say we're all spiritual. Spiritual life cannot be seen as secondary. Our whole thing is to be an adult of our mind. First and foremost, you are what you think about. And I will be discussing of the 10, we're talking about wisdom for beginners, being an adult of my spirit, adult of my mind, adult of my thought, adult of my emotions, adult of my actions, adult of my body, adult of my love, adult of my surroundings, an adult of my relationships, and an adult of all my decisions. I hope this gave you some type of information so that you can look and see what the future is. The future is now, ladies and gentlemen. The future is, today. It is today. And so, as we end here, I just want to, be encouraging here. Today, more than ever, we must have this information, okay? We're in a distraction, divide culture now. where there's so much distractions like sports, and at the same time, we're all being divided. What, sports divides us. One team is for another. Okay. And that's a part of the fun, but it's also part of the distraction of like what's watching in the left hand and what's going on with the right hand. The most important thing is to avoid the distractions, and so that we are not in a division. If there's anything that we want to be as our goal this year, is to not be divided. If we're fighting amongst ourselves, then the powers that be, the ones that are running everything, this is what they want. They want us arguing amongst each other. That's how they win, and how we win is by loving each other, by being the adult of our spirit, by coming into the true love of who we are. So, on my next of these 6 principles I'll be talking about is the body. We're going to be talking about chakras and smells, and how to change everything about us so that we can have more power over our body. These principles are like a puzzle: spirit, mind, thought, emotions, actions, body, love, surroundings, relationships, decisions. This course, coming from the wisdom of Sophia, this is all the part of the pieces to bring us together, so that first of all, we're not distracted in our mind and our spirit, and we're not even divided within our framework of who our spirit is. Strong spirit, strong mind, and always know you are what you think about. So we'll see you next time. We'll be talking about the body, and I'm going to have a guest, Hater on there. I'm looking forward for us being together again very soon. Until then, may you be wise, and may you be always seeking the prize, which is love in the Holy Spirit. Good day. Yes. I hope you enjoyed that clip there. Again, finding spiritual richness, requires something from each one of us within. And that's what we're talking about consistently, about the 10 principles of wisdom that Mother gives us. It's very simple, yet at the same time, when you look at it, it may seem complicated because it's 10 suggestions. But again, you have to decide whether or not how they apply to you. But really what this is all about is us growing up. All of us are growing up. We have to be smarter than ever, like ever, to understand where we're at. There's Silky, my friend. Silky, can't wait to see you back on spinning and dancing there. Thanks for coming in. You're still up. Thanks for coming in, Silky. Appreciate you. So anyway, the next one, we're gonna take a kind of a side thing here. If you've had a pet animal of any kind, okay. Mine is I'm down to 2 cats. I've lost both my last 2 dogs. We've lost in the last couple of years, and it's been real tough on us. And so this was one of the things I did a show on, and I just figured out dog, and it just I love my dog, Isabella, and we were together for almost 16 years, and we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary of ascending over. So anyway, this is a dedication. Dog, Diamonds of God. So hope you enjoyed this one.
Hey, dog lovers. Dog, Diamonds of God. Join me on the Alpough Show, the Human Spirit Experiment, where we'll be talking about dogs on YouTube right now.
Welcome to Alpough. Welcome to those. I haven't gone live in a while. And I want to welcome everyone who's coming in now and who's going to be coming in later. Who's going to watch us. Today, we're going to be talking about dog. Dog, Diamond of God. If you're a dog lover, you know that dogs are just absolutely one of the greatest little people that you can have with you. And it's with great sadness, with great joy of having lost my 2 dogs. And I want to talk a little bit about them. And we're going to be talking 2 stories of 2 dogs. 2 dogs that are in my life. If you've ever had a dog or a pet, this is dedicated to us. And today we're going to be talking about Izzy, where is my little girl? Izzy. And also we're going to be talking about Bella. The Bella, who came into our life. Before we do, I have some questions, some things that seem to come up as we always have this issue about our animals. Do they have souls? Do dogs go on? Some say yes, some say no. Do animals think? Do animals feel pain? And of course, my answer is they go on, they think, and of course, they feel pain. Now in this story of these 2, one we set free and one left on her own. So I'm going to start off with Bella. Bella was just one of those sweet dogs that came into our life about 4.5 years ago. My stepdaughter found her in a kennel. She had been on the streets. No one knows how long, but she'd been on the street for quite a while. And her father, Ray, he had cancer. And so she got Bella to come in and give him some peace. And Bella is a quiet, very quiet spirit, Bella is. If you look at her, her eyes are so revealing on where her life had come from. Unfortunately, Ray passed and Bella needed a home. And so for about the last 4 years, we had Bella. And what a joy she was. She didn't bark. She was always quiet, like she didn't want to make any trouble. And she was always so excited to run. And just being around her was such a pleasure. Bella was estimated to be 15 years old when we got her. And she made it almost to 20 years old, which is incredible for a dog. Now, to see her at the end was very tough because she started to weaken and her body just gave out. But what we did was we just loved on her and loved on her. And I've never been one to want to take a dog in and give them the shot. But this was that time for my sweet Bella. And it seems funny because at the end, they seemed to be talking to me. And I could tell she was trying to say to me that she was ready to go. And I understood that. And so in this instance, we had to take her in. And we all said goodbye to her. And she was set free. And that's how I feel about it. We set her free. And there's the joy of giving freedom out of that body of hers. Of course, we miss her. Absolutely. And she was an older dog. And she brought the joy, even in the short time that she was with us. So to Bella, we know you're still around. I want to talk about this a little bit later. But I want to share with you the story while I even have your attention. Now, the next one is who's up here? And that is Isabella. And Izzy was known as, well, everybody knew her as Daddy's little girl. She was with me for almost 16 years. And we were together every moment of every day. I worked at home and she was always next to me. So our relationship culminated over a decade. And Izzy was different. Izzy was the one who actually ruled the house. So their personalities were totally different. Bella was more of, I want to get along with everyone. We also have 2 cats. Izzy, on the other hand, literally ran the house. Anyone who knew me, and if you've ever met Izzy, you knew that my whole life centered around her. I had no children, so some of us out there who have not had children usually are pets, the ones who are our children. And without a doubt, Izzy ruled me. And I didn't mind at all. The most unfortunate thing that happened to her was on January, the 4th, she got sick and her pancreas went out. And this was in 2019. And Izzy, all of a sudden, lost her sight. And she became deaf. And by the way, Bella did also towards the end of her life. To be blind and not be able to hear is devastating for anybody. But for a dog, it's like being trapped. Now, I looked it up, and dogs who get this, their average lifespan is about 6 months. And yet, Izzy went 18 months. And the reason why was because of me. And of course, Tracy, but she was always enthusiastic still, smiling. Because now it was about smell. Izzy, when we go walking. But now, we always went walking anyway. We had a park that was across the street. And we would walk. I would carry her out there in my arms and just set her down. And before you know it, she started running. And I was running with her. 3 times a day we'd go out there. So our life was surrounded by Izzy. She had to have a shot at 7 in the morning, be fed, and then again 7 at night. So our whole life was surrounded by Izzy for 18 months in the sense that we had to take care of her every day. But what pleasure it was to have her. Now this right here is right about a couple weeks before she passed. I went to go take her to the vet to remove some of her teeth. And by the way, the vet bill was atrocious. I had 2 teeth to take out of her and they charged me $2,300. Now, Izzy being the thinker and always the positive, I could tell, was disappointed because I believe she thought I was going to give her sight. And so she was perfectly fine, except for her condition. So a couple of weeks passed, and of course, she's still going out all the way to her last day. Izzy went to the park and she ran. Now, again, there's so many positive things I'm going to go on here, but what happened was she smelled the dog and was chasing the dog, trying to get to the dog, blind and deaf. I had to literally hold her on her leash. And so, but then suddenly she sat down and just started kind of looking around as if she was saying goodbye to the park. Again, at the end, you could almost hear them talking, and I could tell she was tired. And I held her almost all night, and I set her in her bed. And that morning, when I got up just a few hours later, she had left her body. She had went out on her own terms, which is just like her. Daddy's little girl. I honor all who've ever had an animal. It's not just about dogs. All animals are diamonds of God. I've always said, animals are our greatest teachers. So to all who has ever loved an animal, I honor you. And I know a lot of us here lately have lost our animal, our dogs, our cats. And it's even tougher in these times of COVID. So what I learned from dogs, I would always say to my friends, she's my greatest teacher. How's that? Well, I'm going to give you some. See, first of all, they're very sensitive to you. Once a cat or a dog bonds to you, they live for you. When she's living for me, and I'm living for her. What else? Animals, dogs, cats, they live in the moment. And that's what she taught me. To live in the moment. To be present. Dogs don't think about the past. They think about the now. Now. Also patience. I could see the patience in her eyes. I could see it in Bella's eyes. She taught me patience. Also, that dogs are very protective of the ones they love. They literally would give their life for the person that they are bonded to. Dogs are very giving. Hey, let's go for a walk. Hey, let's talk. It's almost sometimes, if you've ever had an animal, they start to learn your language. And it's my understanding, research has found out that they can distinguish between languages. So are they not smart? Yeah, they're very smart. The thing is, they make you laugh. When I saw Izzy or Bella in the morning, always a big, bright smile. They make you laugh, and they also make you cry when you lose them. What I miss most is the love that's in their eyes. You see it. If you ever have a pet, if you have never had one, there's so many that need to be saved out of the kennels. And there's so much fun to be around. I have more fun with her than I have with any human I've ever been with. The one thing about, if you're not exercising, dogs are great for exercise. No matter what, you have to walk them, and you get the exercise. So in the end, they walk you. To walk around and let people see Izzy brought me so much joy, because people, when they saw her, they just lit up. And they could also see the light in my eyes. So I want to hear your stories. Please put it in the comments whenever you see this. You had a pet, what they did for you. And when you want to live in the moment, please appreciate the dogs you have, the cats you have. You never know how long they're going to be here. Every single person I know who's ever lost their pet has always said it wasn't long enough. I want to keep the party going. So on this day, Bella, Izzy, thank you. Thank you for bringing joy in my life. And in honor of all of us who've lost, we thank you, our dogs, our cats, who've given us life. I walk around Maricopa, I walk around my neighborhood, I see elders walking their dog. We've been here many years now. And so a lot of our dogs, you see us walking, people used to always see me walking. Then all of a sudden, no one saw me for a long time. And it wasn't easy to walk the neighborhood. And I had to work through that. And unfortunately now, Bella's no longer with us also. I believe we'll get another dog because there's so many that need joy. And if you have not had a dog in your life or a cat, you have no idea what you're missing. Man and animal are one. Man and animal are one. Do dogs go on? Oh, you better believe it. Do animals think? You better believe it. Do animals have love in their eyes? You better believe it. So on this day, as the tough times we're in, there is nothing like having a sweet dog. If you're alone, get a dog, get a cat. Depending on your schedule, both works out. But be prepared for a dog because they are 24 hours a day and they need to know that you're always there. Because like you, they're emotional. They miss you. They miss those times. And they can't wait to see you. So I'm going to end this now and just say, I love you all. And for those who love dogs and cats, keep going. A couple comments. Amanda, thanks for coming in. Animals have souls just like us. They do. I know I've had many discussions with people who say animals do not go on. Well, then you haven't been around one long enough. That's all I'm going to say. You just haven't been around. Now, hold on here. See, when animals die, they go back to mother. The Holy Spirit takes her, brings her back home. But now I want to leave you with this. They can decide to stay with you. So if you lost your animal, don't be surprised if they're right next to you and you don't even know it. Me, I'm psychic, some say psycho, but I'm very sensitive spirit. And I know Isabella is with me, and so is Bella. So be aware, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do is think about them. And you just might hear them saying, I love you. Just because we have higher intelligence does not give us the right to enslave them or eat them, for that matter. Okay. Thank you for speaking for the animals who cannot talk. Right. Right. I love you all. I will see you tomorrow. I'll be talking about being an adult of my body. Tune in tomorrow. Until then, may you be blessed. And bless all the dogs and cats in the world. I love animals. I'm so glad. Thanks, Silky. Silky just got you a cat, huh? Oh, I adopted a new kitty last week. Oh, congratulations to you. I have two, and I'm just thinking about a dog. I'm really dealing with that emotionally. I just love them so much, and you make that commitment. I can never understand why anyone would think that animals wouldn't go on. Me neither. Okay. Hey, I'm really bad, man. I think insects. Okay, if you I never forget having a staring contest with a praying mantis that was on my patio table. Literally knew I wouldn't harm it, and just like looked at me. It's such a great connection. So anyway, yes, dog, Diamond of God. Isn't that great? I love that. That's great. Diamonds of God. It's just so excellently named for dogs. All right, my next segment here is news with a twist. Okay, I take a little take off of the news here. I sometimes do the news, and I just kind of make fun of it at the same time, giving you some information. And I think that you'll like this next segment. Bank, or the Federal Reserve Bank, is a private institution. Welcome to News with the Twist of Truth. My name is Michael Alpough, and you are at the Alpough Show, the Human Spirit Experiment. Today is December 15th, 2021, and today we will be discussing the top stories that have been going on. So the top stories are: inflation is continuing to rise. The index came in from the Federal Reserve, and according to a November price jumps, we had a 9.6% wholesale prices, 6.8% consumer prices. This is just for the month of November. That looks like a 17% index because, of course, everything is passed on to us. And according to Jerome Powell, there's a real risk inflation may be more persistent. There's a risk that inflation may stay persistently high. Now, he is the head of the Federal Reserve, or the central bank, which absolutely runs the money system. Now, in case you don't know it, the central bank, or the Federal Reserve Bank, is a private institution. It is not a government institution, and it is giving us the bidding of how the actual finances work. They are printing $120 billion a month into the economy,
which is part of keeping the inflation high. So he has a plan, but no guarantee that the prices will drop. So brace yourself over the next couple of years. We're going to experience, I believe, inflation that we've never seen before, because there appears to be no stop. And this is all since the new regime came in January. So now, next is there is a rise in the pandemic in the EU, which is Europe, and appears that desperate measures are being taken. And so, where's my picture? So I'm going to show you a clip here. So the world is in this dilemma, okay? And what's a dilemma? A dilemma is a problem offering two possibilities, neither of which is unambiguously acceptable or preferable. So we are all in a dilemma. And what's interesting is the EU is shutting down, and Germany and Austria, and on the heels of Austria and Germany locking down, which they've locked down everyone who's unvaccinated, the EU leader is calling for throwing out the Nuremberg Code in favor of forced vaccinating all dissenters. Now, in case you don't know what the Nuremberg Code is, the Nuremberg Code is a set of research ethic principles for human experimentation created by the U.S. v. Brandt Court as one result of the Nuremberg trials at the end of the Second World War, meaning permissible medical experience. According to the Nuremberg Code, you cannot do without somebody's permission to perform experiments. And so by knocking this out, the code, Nazi Germany and Austria, which were the Nazi countries back in World War II, I thought that it had left, but I guess not. So I want to show a clip from one of the hospitals in the EU, and I think you might find it interesting. Pay attention.
141 people are in hospital with COVID at present, and 43 are in intensive care, 18 of whom require ventilation. So this is a very serious disease. Of those 141, 60 are under the age of 55 and 28 under the age of 35. And of the 43 people in intensive care, one is in their teens, 7 are in their 20s, 3 are in their 30s, 14 are in their 50s, and 12 are in their 60s, and 6 are in their 70s. So this is affecting people of all ages with very serious disease. All but one are vaccinated. One person has just received 1 dose of vaccine. All but one are vaccinated. One person has just received 1 dose of vaccine. All but one are vaccinated. One person has just received 1 dose of vaccine.
Yes, that's very interesting. Next up, Elon Musk is back in the news again, the richest man in the world. Elon Musk, he has a surprise for us. Yes, he has a surprise for us. Hold on here, let me get that. Elon Musk Musk Neuralink, to begin implanting microchips in human brains in 2022. It's like a Fitbit for your skull with wires, he said in a 2020 demonstration of the prototype. Now, a lot of us, you might, doesn't he look like a cartoon character? I mean, really, he looks like a superhero guy or whatever. So anyway, I thought this was very interesting. A clip I found off of a clip from Joe Rogan. So this is courtesy. Appreciate that. But again, he asked him the question, what is the Neuralink? And how does it work?
For version 1 of the device, it would be it basically implanted in your skull. So, but it would be flush with your skull. So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there. You put the electrode, you'd insert the electrode threads very carefully into the brain, and then you stitch it up, and you wouldn't even know that somebody has it, and so that it can interface basically anywhere in your brain. So it could be something that helps cure, say, eyesight, like returns your eyesight, even if you've lost your optic nerve type of thing.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Hearing, obviously. I mean, pretty much anything that it could, in principle, fix almost anything that is wrong with the brain.
Everybody ready to get a hole cut in their skull? I'm not. Next, we have LeBron James. And LeBron James is looking up. Things are looking up for him, but it's really weird on some of the things on what he's actually looking up to. And this is a clip that I found, and I thought you might be interested in this because this blew my mind. Yeah, he's looking up. Too bad he's a Laker. Golly. Well, let's end with some good things here. I want to talk about some presidential facts that I thought was interesting. As you know, we have 46 presidents, and 6 are still alive. And here's some facts so 39 presidents out of the 46 have passed. So we have 6 that are still alive. Now, George Washington died, just a fact, at 67 years old. And John Kennedy died at 46, making him the youngest president to die. Now, Jimmy Carter will be the oldest president that was lived. He's the oldest president at 97. So there's not been one president that's ever made it to 97. Okay. Now, George Bush Sr. is next at 94. So you think that, the president is a hard job, right? I mean, really, it's a hard job. You see when they start and when they leave, it is a big change, a lot of them. So it is a hard job. And But when you average all the ages for all the presidents, it comes out to 71 years old. Now, before 18 something, the average age was like 39. So it's gone up here a lot. All right. So now Joe Biden is 79, and he says he will run again, and he'll be 83 years old. So I don't know what's in their tonic or what's in their water, but politicians are getting older and older. Frankly, I think there should be a term limit, without a doubt. So out of the 46, 18% of the presidents died on the job. On the job. 9% were assassinated. And what's interesting is that Thomas Jefferson and John Adams was the second president. Thomas Jefferson was the third, and they both died on the same day, July the 4th, 1826. And it was celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. That was a very interesting fact. Let's see here. Also, James Monroe, the fifth president, he actually died on July the 4th, 1831. Interesting. Then the next guy, so he was the fifth president, but now the fourth was James Madison. He was the fourth, and he died June 28th, 1836. And you know what? They tried to keep him alive to see if he could make it all the way there. So it's interesting about July the 4th, isn't it? Who'd have thought? So anyway, between 1841 and 1963, 8 died in office. So it's a hard job. So I want to leave you with that. I'm going to have my next show. We'll be talking about in the third installment of Wisdom for Beginners. And we will be talking about I am an adult of my thought. We've already gone through I'm an adult of my spirit. I'm an adult of my mind. And now next, we're going to be talking about I'm an adult of my thought. So thank you so much for listening. We appreciate your time. And we will be back on the next installment of News with the Twist of Truth. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll come back, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel. I've got some other videos for you to look at. We're going to be here for a long time. I appreciate you being here. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye. Okay, and good evening, everybody. On this wonderful Monday, as we're going into the evening, it is about 6 o'clock here. I want to welcome you all here. It's good to be back. Last couple of weeks I had some technical issues, and then again some spiritual changes, and just seeing everything that's going on. I'm just so excited to be back because there's so many things that is going on in this world. And I'm going to be taking it from the perspective of the Holy Spirit Sofia. This is not a religious channel. This is a spiritual channel. And I have renamed the show. It is now called the Human Spirit Experiment. And we are all under a new way of thinking. If you've been living under a rock, if you haven't been going through some changes, some magnificently and some not,
At the same time, we're getting ready to go into a new year. So we're starting off here as the human spirit experiment, which meaning here, what does that mean for me? It means that the spirit is being taught to be changed. The spirit we're all into a different realm of what is going on with us and in the surroundings, in the new. We are getting ready to complete the second year of what the pandemic has. And if we break it down into 2 different years, you can see a dramatic change between 2020 when the pandemic started, and then in the second year under a new term of a president, as well as a lot of the variants and things that have gone on. So no matter how we want to look at it, it is a test of our spirit. And I do believe that there is an experiment going on to literally make us believe that we're actually not spirit. And if you are a human being or if you're an animal, you have a spirit. And that spirit is who you are before you came here. And so in this human experiment here, I decided I'm going to do a 10-part teaching. And it's called Wisdom for Beginners, in case, wisdom is what the world needs right now. And so I believe that in 2022, the world will move into a new realm of division. Now, if you want to know what this whole thing has caused from all of us, it is division. If you've studied Agenda 21 from the United Nations, you will understand that what Agenda 21 is. And if you haven't looked at it, you need to look at it. So now, even though 2022, the world will move into a new realm of division, but it also will be moving into a new realm of spiritual greatness. So we're going to be starting a 10-part series of wisdom. I'm going to go over those in just a minute. But before I do, I just want you to know it's time to put your thinking cap on. And that also, a wise man once said nothing. Sometimes it's time to be quiet and listen. Sometimes it's time to speak. In this place, that what I'd like is in wisdom, sometimes it's at this time to not say anything but to observe. Because if you are, and my first teaching here is about the adult of your spirit, then you know sometimes you have to be silent. And right now is the start of the rest of your future. For all of us, our future is upon us. We are now ending the second year of the complete metaphoric change, spiritual change, financial change, health change, division change. Old ways won't open new doors. We may be doing the wrong way or the right way, but now doing what is right is not what is easy. And so a lot of us have been left in this realm where some of us are damaged. Some of us have made decisions that we might regret or we don't regret. And they are being put into place. But I think that it's one of the things that we can pretty much count on is a lot of us, most of us, have been wounded. Okay. I think that it's just pretty simple that wounds have come from the division, from loss of people, from loss of income, from loss of health. A lot of us are just now coming out of whatever it's called forbearance, whatever debt that we incurred. Some have serious medical bills that have come out of this. And So now is the time more than ever to turn your wounds into wisdom. Turn your wounds into wisdom. So here we are again. We're going to be quiet, but you never announce your moves before you make them. And so I think that this is a really time to really understand what wisdom is and how we're going to go about it. So we're going to have a 10-part series here. This is what I decided, what came up to me and what I was inspired by the words of Sophia. And these are the 10 things that we are going to cover. Number 1, I am an adult of my spirit. Are you an adult of your spirit? An adult of my mind? An adult of my thought? Am I an adult of my emotion? These are the things that we're going to have to grasp. This is the things that are inspired from the wisdom of Mother to become wise, to deal with your wounds. These are the things that we're going to have to make the changes. Am I an adult of my action? Next is going to be I'm an adult of my body. Number 7, I'm an adult of my love. I'm an adult of my surroundings or my environment. An adult of my relationship or relationships. And finally, an adult of my decision. So now let's get deeper into what we're going to talk about. Number 1, the main thing is as we begin is that you are what you think about. No matter what. You are what you think about. This is the basics of thinking. Now, all of us have been thinking since we were created and began the heartbeat. If you don't know, the first 512 cells of the creation is a heart. Remember what a heart is. It's a pump. Pumps blood. So those who think, well, by the time the fetus or baby has a heartbeat, the heartbeat is one of the first things that comes into a fetus. So what is thinking? Well, first you have to have a brain and a thought. So if you have a brain, sooner or later there's going to be a thought. Now, is the brain a computer? Well, it pretty much is, but it's much better. This is why robots are created to be more like us, because our memory is basically endless. We can just load it up with as many thoughts and memories. There's never been a time where it's like, oh, your brain is full and you can no longer, you never heard, you can no longer add a thought to your mind. It never ends. So a thought can be, let's just say, since most of us are familiar with computers, a thought can be seen as a file. All right. So now, are your thoughts permanent? Well, there's a process, I believe, through inspiration of Mother, that how do they become permanent? All right. So number 1, when you first get a thought, you're going to dwell or what? Think about it. You're going to think. Okay. Is it time for me to get up? Is it time for me to pay that bill? Well, if I'm going to pay that bill, is it due today? Maybe it's not due till tomorrow. Okay. So then what comes up next is you debate within the thought. Well, let's see. It's not due today, but it's due. Oh, it's due on Friday. And so that brings to relating the experience like, oh, yeah, because it's due on the 20th and today is the 17th. So I don't have to actually pay that. And so now I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep this thought in there. All right. Or I'm going to delete it. Oh, wait a second. I paid that bill yesterday. Or so I don't need to think about it. All right. So then what happens is this thought becomes permanent. Okay. So let's just go back and go, well, I'm going to pay that bill on the 20th. All right. So now the actual thought enters into your spiritual realm. It enters into your spiritual realm. What are thoughts? Well, thoughts are intentions. All right. So it enters into your spiritual realm. Remember, if you are a spirit, which you are a spirit, we can debate over and over and over again on whether or not you're spirit. Well, you are. Okay. And you go on. And you come in as a spirit and you leave as a spirit. You're a spirit experiencing in a body, not the other way around. So this intention is released into the spirit realm. Okay? The spirit realm is everything. It's everything. Everything has come from spirit. Mother, she's spirit. Why do they say Mother Earth? Why do they say Mother Nature? Why don't they say Mother the Holy Spirit? They give Mother Earth is creating Earth and also the nature. So they don't say God's Earth. They say Mother Earth. Mother Earth created God, who they gave him the credit. But again, it came down to being Mother Earth. So no matter what, your thought, positive or negative, when it's released into the spirit realm, it is an intention and something comes back. All right, so now it is released into the spirit realm. So what does that mean? It means I'm an adult of my spirit decision. I'm an adult of my spirit. So when you put it into the spirit realm, which means that when you create it, and that this is a thought that you're going to process and put in, where does the spirit, how does the spirit look at it? Well, it's going to be pretty much two things. It's like your lowest good. Okay. So if you go on drugs or whatever, every decision you make, it's either going to be for your lowest good or for your highest good. Right? For your highest good. So no matter what, though, results will happen. Results will happen either way. Now, this is where it gets really tricky, because you think that the patterns are in your mind, but also these patterns begin in the spirit world. So if you're someone who is not living in your higher self, your highest good, then you may be in a place where you're in a permanent lower self of your highest good. All right. So for each one of us, ladies and gentlemen, we have to look at our world as one spirit. No, we're all one spirit, but each one of us is a cell within the great spirit of Mother. So we're linked to her for her to give us her wisdom, but we have to, part of it is tapping in to her, which is meaning tapping into our spirit. Now, yes, it comes time to debate on whether or not you want to say the Holy Spirit is Sophia. Okay. Now, however you want to look at it, everyone who has a title has a name. Everyone. You do not say there's the president. You say there's President Joe Biden. You just don't name anybody by a title. And so if the Holy Spirit is real, which she is, then she has a name. And one thing that makes any sense to me is you have to have a mother and a father in order to create. But it takes both. So when we're going to break all this down, you see, into these 10 different realms: thoughts, emotions, decisions, love, surroundings. These are all the things that we're going to study. And then when we put it into a positive sense here, as we finish this up, the whole thing is, as we're going along here, is how to trust your decisions. And is your decisions of your highest good? Or are the decisions that are going to continue to bring you down? If you're having issues within your own personal spiritual realm, if you want to live in a more wiser life, then the human spirit experiment is where you belong here. So we're going to end here with a question. Is your spirit an adult when created? And then we're going to go on to the next. And that'll be next time on the Human Spirit Experiment, also named the Alpough Show, but we had to have a theme. And this is where we're going in 2022 to get all the wisdom that we can possibly understand. And I've been searching all my life and found her, and she found me. And I want to pass it on to you. So please tune in tomorrow. We'll be broadcasting again tomorrow about 7 o'clock Mountain Times.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Do you feel like a rat? Do you feel like you're in a maze? Maybe it's time to get your spirit raised, your spirit strong. The Alpough Show, the Human Spirit Experiment. It won't take long.
Hey, welcome to Alpough Show, the Human Spirit Experiment. Happy New Year, everybody. This is the year of the tiger. By the way, I think we're going to have to get some tiger in us in order to make it through this year. Today's a special day. We're going to be talking about it 1-5. So glad that you're here. So glad that you want to get better, because that's what it's all about. I really want you to know how excited I am today. I have my first guest, the one I've been trying to get on for a long time, Miss Amanda Darling, great DJ, world traveler, and I would say probably my greatest student, who's learned more about Sophia than pretty much anybody other than me. So we're really happy. We met a long time ago when she was first DJing. So I'm real excited about having her here. Have you decided on your New Year's resolution? I hope you're training. I hope you're getting ready to get in the best physical health that you can possibly be. But now here, we're going to be talking about your spiritual health as well as your spiritual wealth. So let us begin. Here we go here. All right. So happy New Year again. Is it same as last year? Today's date is 1/5/2022, January 5th, 2022. Now, the pandemic began March 11th, 2020. And today it's 666 days since the beginning of the official pandemic. 666, as we know, some people put it in all kinds of different perspectives, and it does mean something. If you study Gematria is the decoding of numbers. So the pandemic began March 11, 2020. Today is January 5th. And as you might not know this, but Today, 5G began. The 5G network took control over all the communication. Computer in Gematria equals 666. Internet equals 666. Vaccination equals 666. In Gematria, mandatory equals 666. And the HR 6666, the contact tracing bill, which how they'll be able to trace us. So where are we today? Well, right now, we want to talk about the gateways to wisdom from Mother Sophia. This day, this year, this time, right now is when we must become an adult of our spirit. Okay, this is the beginning. These are the gateways to wisdom. They come in it's going to be in a 10-part series. We are beginning the 4th part. First was I'm an adult. This is all about this, the 10 parts of how I am going to be an adult. Number 1, our spirit. We've already gone into this. We will always continue to go on this. Number 2, an adult of my mind, an adult of my thought, an adult of my emotions, which we will be discussing at length today, an adult of my actions, an adult of my body, an adult of my love, an adult of my surroundings, an adult of my relationships. And finally, what after doing all these things, we become an adult of our decisions. Now, today we're going to be talking about emotions. And I'm going to bring Amanda in here now. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I want to thank you for being on the show. It is its own risky event because we'll be talking about things that most people aren't talking to. But I really want to. You're a young lady who's been around the world, who's grown up in the technology, was brought up in the technology, brought up in the internet. And this old geezer here, I didn't even know what the internet was and couldn't spell it till the 90s. So today we're going to be talking about emotions, Amanda. And so I would like to throw some phrases out to you, and I'd like to know where you were from where you came from to where you are today. Okay, let's first start about this. When we first started talking, it was, are you ruled by your emotions?
So thank you again for having me on the show. I am so excited to be a part of this and sharing these gateways of wisdom with the viewers so that everybody can just unlock their, inner strength and become the adult of your life. So to answer your question, I would say, you met me about 5 years ago, and I was a little bit younger back then. And I think that we struggle more with our emotions when we're younger, of course. But some people never really learn to become the ruler of their own emotions. And through your help and also through my own journey of self-discovery and
You mean hard work?
Hard work. Yeah. Hard work of, all of these different things are connected. Being the adult of my mind, getting up at sunrise and going to the gym, and, please subscribe to my channel. It's called Sunrise Club. So my whole philosophy is being in that sunrise mentality of taking control of your life, getting up early, saying yes to life, going to the gym. But to answer your question, years ago, struggled a lot more with my emotions. And of course, being a woman, we tend to go with emotions first and then logic second. Of course, women are and can be extremely logical and are equally as intelligent as men, but it's extremely difficult, especially when you're a young woman. I think a lot of ladies out there watching this can relate, or at certain points during the month, to be the adult of your emotions. So thank you. I guess it was really a big change in my life when I finally realized that I could become the adult of my emotions. And I realized that I didn't have to be a victim of these feelings, because I'm a very loving and very, just a very sentient, open-hearted person. So when I would feel like I was in love with someone or betrayed by someone or hurt by something, I would just burst into tears. And doing that kind of behavior in public is not helpful. And it changes the way people perceive you. And even privately, you need to take control of your mind. And so through these gateways of wisdom and your assistance, yeah, like I said, I have become the adult of my emotions. I've improved in a huge way. I know you've noticed it. And it's not only better for me and my well-being, because a spiritual master is someone who's calm. And so it benefits not only me, but others to be this way. I'm still working on it, of course. But I guess when I was younger, I mistakenly thought that if I was really emotional, that was a good thing. That it made me interesting, or it made me more appealing somehow. But I realized later that if it's a positive thing, then I love to be joyous and exuberant and all that. But when we're feeling negative emotions, you should still feel them, but there's a way to channel that. I keep a diary. I go to the gym. I lift weight. I confide in a close friend. But just having these outbursts or emotional breakdowns, we want to overcome that. So thank you for your help, and please share with the viewers some of the things that you told me in those moments of how to take back the reins and get in control.
Yes, this is a great, thank you. This is a great segue here. So questions I ask people is, are you fooled by your emotions? Are you a slave to your emotions? Does the government rule your emotions? And so at the end of the day is, are you an adult of your emotions? And so these are the challenges that I suggested, or we were able to put it in some type of a box to really kind of understand how your emotions can rule you. Now, generally speaking, we say women are more emotional because they're more loving, but that's not necessarily all the way true. Okay. And so these are the things of bringing us, first of all, examining ourselves, right, Amanda? I mean, I think of anything, what's happened over these years is the ability that you learned how to go outside of your surroundings and look at yourself from the outside looking in. Would you say that was kind of a helpful thing, or how do you relate to that?
So yeah, the first step towards self-realization is you have to see things as they are. That means, sober up if you're on any kind of, if you can, safely, just get off any kind of meds, get a clear mind, start drinking more water, and look at with a clear head, no drinking for a while, and just look at yourself and analyze where you're at. Because I think a lot of us kind of live our whole lives under this veil of illusion, and we never really look in the mirror. And as you suggested to me, go look in the mirror, look at yourself and say, I love you. We're starting from this place where we're at right now. I've got you. You're my best friend. And we're going to start walking toward the gateways of wisdom. And it doesn't matter where you're at, because we're all on the spiritual path. Even if you don't know you're on the spiritual path, we are all actually on this earth to discover who we are spiritually. So even if you feel like you haven't been the adult of your emotions in the past, or that you've made a lot of mistakes, it's okay. Just take that first step forward. Don't worry. Just one step and then the next. So yeah, I think that becoming the adult of your emotions, it has to be a conscious effort where you really have to be honest with yourself, and you have to realize no one's ever going to do it for you. There's not a certain alcoholic drink that's going to cure you of that emotion. There's not a friend that you can call and cry to who's going to fix it for you. Eventually, you're going to have to stop and go, you know what? I am not acting like an adult right now. And there are more healthy ways to channel those emotions. And when you are a calm person, that is how you get the respect of others, and you earn your own self-respect.
I know that one of the first things I'm going to, Amanda, because we've talked so many times, Amanda knows these principles I've been saying to her. And the first one was, and you brought it up, do you love yourself? Okay, if you want to get, first of all, you want to get in touch with your emotions, you want to get in control of your emotions, well, you have to get in control of the love, where your love is going. So I always, the first thing that anytime I talk to anyone, I ask them, could you look in the mirror and say 100 times, all the way through sincerity, I love you. Okay. And most people, and I'm not kidding you, almost everyone can say, oh yeah, I've done it. Okay. I want to, you go do it. And you have to do it. And I've done it 1,000 times in the mirror, 1,000. I don't have to do it like I used to do it. but it is the beginning. Loving, to learn to love is the beginning of wisdom. And what is love about? Love is your spirit. And so it's also about creating a new standard. So this is what this is about. It's about a new standard. Something that's never literally been done, although these standards have been with us since the beginning of creation, mother's creation. So now let's go look at this little thing right here I have. Natural law. Okay, so another word is spiritual law. What is the correct way if you want to say it's based in truth? Okay, so we look down the bottom and it says, do not initiate harm. Love, the first spiritual and only spiritual law. Some say it's a spiritual law. We're a spiritual channel. So mother's spiritual law is do no harm to sentient beings. Now we've talking about humans, but we also are talking about animals. So we're going to go into that, but this is one of a man is our greatest passions. It's do no harm to nobody. It just doesn't apply to human beings. So it's the same old do no harm has always been here. But what has happened? Well, we gave over to what? The government. Government. Governmental. Governmental. That's what the government is. It governs our mental. If you live in this world right now, we are on an emotional roller coaster. Every day, there's something major that happens. So we don't take the time to actually look at ourselves. And this is one of the most important things that, we've had to learn and where we're going to be growing from. Now, Amanda, I can't help but ask you, because you just came from Crete in Europe, and you saw a country completely different than ours. Can you explain a little bit on what your experience was with Crete and how it added to your spiritual armor?
Absolutely. I plan to return to Crete as soon as possible. It's my favorite place in the world that I've traveled to, and I've been to 16 countries so far. Excuse me. One thing I noticed is that as an American woman born here in the United States and having lived in California my whole life, except for a year I lived in South America. But anyway, I feel like a lot of Americans, we have this mistaken worldview that we're just the best country out there and everybody is trying to be like us, and that we're kind of infallible. But it was actually Abe Lincoln who said, if America crumbles, it will not be from a foreign invader. It will be because of mistakes we're making within our own society and an internal decaying. And I'm paraphrasing, but it really opened my eyes being on the island of Crete, and I love my country and I love the United States, and that's why I bring this up. But we don't do everything better than other countries. For instance, I saw no homeless people in Crete, none. I saw people outside more. I saw people spending time together, talking, not on their phones as much. People weren't watching TV as much. I almost everyone I met was completely bilingual, completely fluent in at least 2 languages. And there was my favorite thing I noticed about the people of Crete is that they really uphold that biblical teaching that says, if a man asks you to go 1 mile with him, go with him 2, which was one of the teachings of Jesus. And that's exactly the way their culture is. If you ask them for something, they will not only do it, but they will and they will do this and this and this for you, and they want to help you. It's a genuine thing, and it really warmed my heart. I felt more of a humanity was brought back into my existence. There was I'm not saying everybody there is perfect or anything like that, and there are people in the United States who are incredible people, but I guess it was just eye-opening to discover a culture that was a lot more ancient than ours. And I do think that in America sometimes we are a bit precocious and we think that we have everything all figured out, but I see some warning signs, and so it's good to talk about those things on this show and relating it back to being the adult of your emotions. Just I feel like there's a toughness that we've kind of lost as Americans, that we need to be a bit more accountable for the way we behave, and not blame everything on mental illness. I mean, I know that mental illness is real. I have dealt with my own struggles from time to time with depression, and it's a real thing, and I have compassion for. But another thing I noticed over there was it wasn't like everyone I met had a mental illness or a reason why they can't do this, I can't do that, because I have PTSD or I have ADHD or I'm on this med or that. It's not so much like that over there. And there's more of a toughness that I think we need to come back to.
Well, one of the things I want to add is, I know one of the reasons is, and we talked about this over the phone, the country's thousands of years old, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So the heritage of, say, someone on Crete.
It's about 5,000 years.
Yeah, 5,000 years. We're not even 5 bills yet. Okay, guys?
If you go back to the ancient Crete, yeah.
Yes. So if you go all the way back, so it is in the people's DNA. Okay? Because it's like, let's just say racism is in our DNA. Okay? People are taught to be racist here. All right? They have been around for so long that they don't have to prove anything. You see, what we're doing right now as a country is we feel we have something to prove. All right.
Right. The Greeks already did all these mistakes a long time ago. They used to have slavery, but way, way before we did. And they already tried to conquer the world way, way before, that we did. So
right.
We should look at history and learn from that.
So I want to get back here to where you brought up Jesus, and there were some great things done in his life, and a lot of the things was taken out of context as these books that came out from him. Basically,
not from him, but from people who wrote
not from him, but from twisting his words and everything like that. And
right.
Really what it turned into was a religion. Okay. And so this is all back then. This is all kind of changed in the 15th century, by the way. Religion became an insurance policy. Religion actually is, instead of being taking responsibility, like what we're doing here right now with the 10 principles of Sophia, of taking your responsibility, you depended on someone else to tell you what to do. And with that said, you pay your tithe, and so now you're guaranteed to go to heaven. Okay. So that actually was the first insurance policy. And so now here's where we're at, is government is an insurance policy. We have let the government, remember, government of our own minds. Okay. And so what has all this turned us into? That everything is complicated. It's complicated. I got attention deficit disorder. I got PTSD. I don't have an education. I'm broke. No one loves me. On and on and on and on, making excuses for what you are supposed to be, and that is a great spiritual being. So Mother wants to make this simple and yet powerful. And so I think that if all of us were fortunate enough, this is why I'm so happy that you're on the show, Amanda, because you're well-traveled. You've been outside of the United States. As a matter of fact, you're getting ready to move back over there. And so that's drawing you back
to a place of old as well as new, because it's not here. It's not here. So, okay, so when you came back, no, you left, you came back, and the pandemic was still going on. So between the time that you left, Amanda, all right, and then the time you were there, then when you came back, what was some of the real changes that you saw in the difference in the United States?
Yeah, I've noticed since the pandemic began, I've noticed something that quite a few things I find alarming. One of them is with the mask wearing, I noticed there is a real lack of manners. And I already saw that declining, but I've noticed that people with the mask on, they're almost more like a troll online. It's kind of like, you can't see who I am, so I don't need to be nice. I don't need to smile. I don't need to be cordial. If I bump into you, there's no need to say, excuse me. I just pretend like I don't even see you. And I'm worried about that. I think that we need to be aware of how dangerous that is as a society, to lose cordiality and manners and decorum. You know, we need to maintain those things. I've noticed that, of course, just the amount of government control, it continues to increase. And, you know, that's not the government's job to rule over every part of our lives. I mean, obviously in a health crisis, yes, sometimes the government should be involved to give us guidance, not mandates. A mandate is basically a forced law that we didn't vote on. So I see these things, and I see gross violations of the Constitution, of our privacy rights, and I guess I'm starting to speak up about it because it's gotten so out of hand. I mean, as an artist, I try to stay neutral, but when you stand idly by when evil is taking place, you know, you are a part of and an instrument to that evil. So we have to discuss these things. We need to not comply with things that I don't feel are right. I mean, when the pandemic began, I was kind of tricked into thinking the vaccine, you know, and I don't even know if we're allowed to talk about that on the show, but I was kind of tricked into thinking that by taking this jab, I would be, that would be it, you know, and we would be able to move forward. And I think a lot of us were tricked into that. And as I see it progress more and more, I see it going in a direction that I'm not comfortable with, because I personally am a really healthy person. I don't take medication of any kind. I'm completely healthy, so I don't think it's right for anyone to force me to be taking medications. I think that should always be my choice. And so yeah, I'm concerned about where it's going. But it's like this all over the world. In Greece as well, they're doing the vaccine. Everyone, oh, there I said it again. It's also so much censorship these days. So I see the world changing a lot from the 80s when I was a kid, and it does worry me. There are great things happening too. I'm not a pessimist. There's amazing innovations that are helping us all, but I think we need to course correct and bring spirituality back into this world.
Well, I really appreciate your insight on this. You know, I know we got to wind up here in just a little bit. I really, really would love to have you come back on the show. There's so many things that I want to address with you. Number one, we've talked about going into training. And I know that one of the things that you've helped me with is my own personal health. And, you know, reminding me of being plant-based and, you know, and being in training. And you're in great shape. I've seen you perform. You're jumping up and down for 2 hours. I have no idea how you can do that, but you can do that. So I really would like to bring you back on here to talk about some of those things, and we'll keep, you know, sending people to your new YouTube channel that you're getting ready to do. So, you know, with the time said here, I just got a couple more minutes here. I'd just like for you to, from the spiritual woman's perspective, on what advice that you would give a woman who just is lost, so to speak, and where's a good place for them to begin?
I think, yeah, so many people are lost right now, especially women. And as we will go into on subsequent episodes of the show, because the Bible was edited and manipulated in such a way that they basically tried to take the Holy Spirit out of it, make her into a side character, change her into a him, and deny her importance. I mean, she's still in there. I mean, every single miracle that Jesus ever performed was through the Holy Spirit, but we never get to learn of the Holy Spirit's name being Sophia, or that she's God's wife. So that's really the greater work behind my music, is to remind women of this, and that we should be questioning these things. I mean, even if you're not a Christian, the Bible, the founding fathers were all Christian, and they were, I believe, almost all of them were Protestant. Anyway, they really did put the fundamental beliefs of the Bible and their religion into the Constitution, and it is a big part of our society. So we can't ignore this. When we talk about questioning things like the Bible, it can be very controversial. But I say, if I'm not the one to question it, if we're not questioning it, that's dangerous too, because we should look at this sacred text, which contains a lot of great information that still applies today. But there's parts of it that we know were translated incorrectly, or translated by people who had an agenda. And for me, the Garden of Eden story as well has been manipulated to make women look like we are the kind of the downfall of man. And I can't sit here and accept this anymore. It's hurt me spiritually, and it puts women second place. And I think even if we don't know it consciously, there is a subconscious programming from the moment we're born into this society, which is really worldwide, that, almost all around the world, the Bible is affecting, billions of people and their beliefs. So, and I think we should take the good and leave the rest, as you like to say, and continue to explore this. But to awaken a woman's spirituality, my message for you, because I know we got to go pretty soon here, is I have good news for you. You are a part of God. You are a part of the Trinity, because guess what? Holy Spirit is female, and she's the divine mother, and this information will not be held secret anymore. We will tell this good news, and it's just completely transformed my life. So just know, women, and for the men too, this is going to heal us all, because the divine is a beautiful, perfect yin yang of love between the feminine and the masculine. That's what created everything. And I guess we should leave on that beautiful note, because is there anything more beautiful to imagine than that? And that's what I want to come back to, is the sacred love between us all, but especially between men and women, with complete respect and equality.
Well, Amanda is going to be on her show tonight. Is tonight at 8:00 Pacific, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so she does a great show. She is a performing artist, and she does a great show. So check her out on Twitch, and you will have not seen a performance till you see Amanda Darling. She's played at the top clubs, Avalon in Los Angeles. And so she's and a great writer. She's got an album coming out, and she's already been charted. And I just want to thank you, Amanda, for coming in. I will see you on the other side, okay? Love you.
See you soon.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in, even if it's for a couple minutes. We'll be back on the air a little bit later on today, and hope there were some things you got out of this. Just know that I'm out here putting it out in the airwaves, love, and I go by wisdom from Sophia, the Holy Spirit. I thank you so much for tuning in for however how long. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you next time. Alpough Show, the Human Spirit Experiment.